You know, last week a boat showed up in Miami-Dade County with some men aboard, some of which were our Jamaicans, who at the time suggest that they were fleeing Jamaica because of acts of violence and crime. Now, one of our lawmakers, Senator Lambert Brown, had this to say.
There can be no doubt that one of the first duty of a government is to secure its citizens, to make it safe for them from crime. Just yesterday, the story broke of Jamaican boat people picked up on the shore in Florida. One of our citizens under handcuffs said the following: "Pure killing going on over there. Really want to leave. I want a better life. No life in Jamaica right now." That's what our citizen Senator Campbell told the world. Having heard, no doubt, our Prime Minister in opposition making the promise to him and probably voting for the Prime Minister party that they'll do better on crime.
Lambert Brown must be reminded of the time of his past when he was charged, right? And for being a violence producer in this country. So there is some commonality between the gentleman who washed up ashore in Miami, Bobby Skeng. There is great similarity between himself and Lambert Brown. Both support the People's National Party. Both of them came up in an era where violence in Western Kingston, Central Kingston, Eastern Kingston was the order of the day. Both of them perhaps might have been participants in the Brigadista program where 1,600 Jamaicans were sent to Cuba on the basis that they were going there to learn how to do construction. But instead, they were taught criminal acts, how to fire submachine guns, and how to return to Jamaica and spread mayhem. It is what we are suffering from today. Those are the seeds that were planted by Michael Manley and the same political movement that Lambert Brown supports. I think Lambert Brown is an embarrassment to the Senate, and the quicker the PNP remove him, is the quicker we'll get some semblance of normalcy in that Senate. Lambert Brown is a disgrace to the Senate. This is his 4th or 5th time using the Senate floor to score cheap political points. Cheap political points. That's what he's using the Senate for, as a political football. And he should be ashamed of himself. Now, here's what the police commissioner had to say about these men. These so-called men that Lambert Brown used the Senate to refer to as citizens complaining of the environment in Jamaica being a murderous one where there's no life. Listen to what the commissioner had to say about these men.
7 Jamaicans, there were more than 7 persons, but 7 of the persons on the boat were Jamaicans. We have been working with our international partners on this, and have found criminal traces for 4 of them, 4 of the 7 so far. And only a couple of weeks before that, we know that another person who was wanted in Jamaica was tried to enter the United States in a similar way, but was found and sent back to us. So we constantly work with our partners on this, and that is the update on those who were taken up there. We know who they are. As I said, 4 so far we have found criminal traces in our system for them.
You see, Lambert Brown now basically blaming the government and blaming the situation in Jamaica for those men boarding the vessel to Florida. And that is, you see, part of the problem we have is when we seek to score cheap political points from just about everything. And that is what Lambert Brown is guilty of. Trying to score cheap political points, and has been caught again in a web of denial. Lambert Brown will not accept that Bobby Skeng from Central Kingston is one of his operatives. He will never accept that some of the acts of violence that he would have perpetrated on the citizens there would have perhaps coming out of the same playbook that Lambert Brown read. You know, I said this on various platforms that the People's National Party support violence. They support anarchy. They support lawlessness. You see, what is happening in central Kingston and throughout Jamaica, and if you look at it, in most cases, it happens in PNP constituencies. A lot of times it does, and whether we want to accept it or not, it's the fact. And all of this is coming from 1976 when Michael Manley sent 1,600 Jamaicans to Cuba, telling the Jamaican people that they were sent there to learn construction, when in truth and in fact they were sent there to learn how to fire a gun and how to come back to Jamaica and create mayhem. So what we're seeing here in Jamaica now is a spin-off from what the seeds that were sown from 1976, when we had a state of emergency and lock up the entire opposition. It happened, the dispatching of Jamaicans happened, I think, in 1979, somewhere thereabout. But it is what we are seeing today, is the act of violence. And when Lambert Brown can use the Senate in defense of these men, saying that our citizen, well, might I remind you, Lambert Brown, that this is not our citizen. This is a man who has created mayhem in central Kingston and throughout Jamaica. So if it is your citizen, you can own him as your citizen. He's certainly not our citizen. He's a violence producer, and the police will be dealing with him according. And it's just unfortunate that there's nothing in the law that says you deal with the persons who support them, who glorify them. Because what Lambert Brown is using the Senate to do is to glorify the acts of violence. And it's to legitimize or to give some semblance of credence to this man who have fled Jamaica. Not because he's in any situation of distress. He's fleeing Jamaica because his rival gangs are on his heel. The police, law enforcement in Jamaica is on his heel. And that is why he's fleeing the country. And I think Lambert Brown owes the Jamaican people, owes the Senate, an apology for that utter nonsense that he used the floor to exert the other day.